Well, good afternoon from the Bluff. I just had a lovely lunch with one of my girlfriends. I finished a very short and brief conversation with my financial advisor. It was all right, went as expected. I've always been pretty careful and mindful of that, keeping my eyes on the bigger picture, on the goals, my future, my long-term goals, short-term, medium-term, long-term goals, all that kind of stuff. So I'm in good shape. So feel okay about it. Where I can take this time and focus on starting something new, and not have to worry so much. And that feels good. So a little bit of reflection on today's reading. I didn't go for my walk, but I certainly did some thinking about it. And I think that makes me first think about the ability of just having the freedom of time to do that. I had been reading this book since end of February, early March, but really not ever having the time to reflect on it or apply it or think of how it applied to me at all. Because I was consumed with the fucking hell that my life was at that time. And now I actually have the time to really sit and reflect and take my time with it, sit with it for a bit. And I can't tell you what a difference that's made in just this short amount of time. And just even doing these little episodes has been super helpful for me too, because I'm alone most of the time by myself in my own thoughts, and to actually say these things out loud really does make a difference. I am in therapy now. I do have a talk therapist that I meet once a week with. I have a session with her tomorrow, and that's been great. And I have to say, I have been so blessed with so many people that love and care about me, that check in with me, I truly am not alone. I just happen to, physically be alone by myself most of the time, but I know that I am truly never alone. Because so many people are just a quick text away, a quick phone call away, and I am truly blessed to have that in my life. So reflecting back on this, having the whole time to be reflective made me think of a story from way back in my life. Some of you know that my childhood, my young adult life, that part of my life, I was consumed with my desire to be a musician. My whole world was it. That was my whole everything. So when I went off to college, when I was 18 years old, my first professor said to me, I was in one of my lessons, he's like, "Oh, it must be Tuesday because Kathy's hair color is different." Like, that's right, Mr. Stolper, because, I have to entertain you somehow. I chose gray today. But I digress. So I'm in there, and I'm playing for him out of the Barrett book, and all you oboe players know that well. So I'm playing my etude from the Barrett book, and he stops and he's like, "Kathy, you are making too many mistakes." Like, yeah, I probably didn't spend enough time in the practice room this week. It's like, yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily the amount of time that you're spending, it is more of the quality of time that you're spending in the practice room. He said, you need to slow it down. You need to turn that tempo way down to the point where you are not making mistakes, and you need to keep it there. I don't care how slow it is. You're going to keep it at that slow tempo until you feel comfortable that you are not going to make any mistakes. Because right now, what you're doing is practicing making mistakes. Like, And I wish my 18-year-old self would have the life wisdom, the maturity, the life experiences to draw upon to really understand that, that you're just essentially practicing mistakes over and over and over again. And that is going to make the process that much longer for you. And to be patient, it doesn't have to happen right now. But when you're 18, and boy, life was good at 18. I just had such a good time. Oh my Lord, what a great time in my life, for a number of reasons. But but what 18-year-old wants to hear you need to slow shit down? But here I am, all these years later, from 18 years old to 54 years old, and I look back on that and go, oh my God, you were just so right. And not that I didn't put those things into practice, but it really has a whole different meaning for me today. And I wish I could tell him that, hey, I thought of you today, and that lesson that you tried to instill in me back my 18-year-old self, fresh out of high school, brand new to thinking they're independent and an adult. Oh, Lord. I just wish I could tell him that I think back to those years fondly, and especially to that lesson now, because, Mr. Stolper, I've turned the tempo way, way down. And I'm not going to practice mistakes any longer. Nope, not going to do it because, I'm just not. I'm turning the tempo down, and I'm not going to turn it up again until I'm ready. So thank you for that lesson. Okay, so on to the topic of the Daily Stoic today of do your job. And it talks a little bit about, whatever anyone does or says, I must be what I am and show my true colors. You need to be true to yourself, but you need to know who that self is first. You need to know what colors you want to show. What are your true colors? Sometimes people don't even know what that is, and it's just a facade, an empty shell, because they don't want to take the time to figure out who they really are and what are their true colors. Because sometimes maybe they don't want to know who, or maybe they don't like that person or those true colors. So that's the first step of really understanding who you are as a person. Before you can be true to those colors, you need to know what those colors are. And back to the time thing again, I am truly blessed. I know so many people that don't feel like they have the time, or they are consumed with their lives, or consumed with their job, or consumed with being on that hamster wheel. You really need to be disciplined to make the time to do the work. And I just happen to be very blessed to have all that time right now. Anyways, I digress again. So that made me think about really wanting to understand who you are as a person, and understanding what your true nature is. And if there are colors you want to change, you got to do the work to change those colors, I guess. And then the other part that kind of hit me was, let's see, I have to put my reading glasses on. The most important job is to be good and to be wise, to remain the person that philosophy wished to make us. So do your job today. Be good. Be good to yourself and be good to others. And I think that is just a lovely way to think about every day. Is your job is to be good, and to be good to yourself. And what does that mean? I don't know how I feel about this. Even people who do bad things, they're doing their job. I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. Yeah. So that is my goal here, to take the time to do good, and to take the time to work on myself, and to slow things down so I don't repeat those mistakes, so I don't practice my mistakes over and over and over again. So here we are. Thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate it. The sun is right in my eyeballs, so I have no idea what you're seeing. You know, maybe you're seeing my feet. I don't know. Do you see my feet? It's beautiful because I can't see. I only see my reflection in the screen at this point. So enjoy the day. Thank you again for joining me. It's just been, what a journey, what a blessing. I am blessed. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the love. Really means a lot to me. Follow, subscribe, like, all those things. Take care, and we will see you tomorrow.